No, there we go. All right, so we had some technical issues on Skype, but we're here on the US. Is everybody on the UK Skype? Are they able to come to the US Skype? Do you know?
I think most of the people are. There might be a couple of people, again, because of the whole like limited number of people who can join, but for the most part, yeah.
Hi, bud.
Hi guys. I'm sleeping late tonight, so yeah. Just learning.
Do you guys, or I know DJ doesn't, but do you have anything you want to talk about, or any questions about anything at all?
Yeah, sure. That would be nice. I'm trying to yeah, I'm just gonna ask this question. Did Buddha ever said something? I think pretty much Buddha said something about like the world is a reflection, in the sense that I've been thinking about how maybe I see certain things. I have a feeling of I dislike that because, and I've been thinking about, instead of seeing that as a people problem, I could use that as a time to contemplate on maybe I can choose not to feel that way. Something like that, I guess. I'm just basically, I'm not sure if because lately there are certain things happening that made me feel I'm just uncomfortable. If I'm being really honest, I just hate what I'm observing. There's a judgment arising. I could choose not to see it. I have a choice. I have a choice to look away. I'm not sure. I haven't really processed the question, so I'm just rambling.
It's okay. Yeah. There's some good stuff in your rambling.
Thank you.
That's some good rambling, dude.
Yes.
I don't know. Does anybody here have anything to say on what he just said?
I just popped in, so I missed the antecedent or the warm up or the original question.
From what I got from what he was saying was basically he just feels like shit and he's having trouble controlling his mind, and that's what I got from it.
Does it seem to come from the mind? Does it seem to originate? All theory aside, knowing that the mind is the forerunner, but putting that aside for a moment, and in your experience, can you detect what it wants? Does it want something in feeling tone, like in emotion or in the heart? Does it hurt first, even subtly, like in the skin? Or is it thoughts that are truly hooking? Do thoughts hook first, then the body? Sometimes that's important to make that distinction. Other times it's just it'll just proliferate the mind.
Yeah, that's a good. It definitely hurts. It hurt first. Is it okay if I provide some example? It's basically I've been seeing how people are being a hypocrite. I've been asking myself, the question, why does people being a hypocrite hurts me? And I think the gist of it is because in the past I had people being a hypocrite, and their hypocrisy got me into trouble. I don't know. It almost feels like if people were being honest, it will hurt less. It's just, I think it's basically what they do triggers certain memories in the past that has not really fully healed, and it just keeps coming out randomly throughout the days if I see something like that. So yeah.
If there is something that comes up here, and that is a phenomenon that is happening here in the practice, and I wondered for a while, I had the same experience that you describe, and I think you describe it skillfully, Ivan. I think there can be things that are dependent on memory that come up. And sometimes in my experience, my life, they happened sometimes two decades ago or longer. And I asked the question, why are these things coming up now? Like, why are these dogging the mind now? It doesn't even, my life, if they're not relevant to life now, why do I keep rehashing, what about this is appealing? What about this is tempting me to fall from right view and suffer in this way? And I think we have to be careful about this, and it probably does require quiet and discernment. But often when we have had some success in our practice, if we've had breakthroughs in the dimension of seeing our mess, sati sampajanya, however you want to dress it up and call it, or how simply you want to call it, the mind, when it attains subtlety, when the mind becomes more, when it's gross and the kind of anger fits that you've had multiple times a day, they feel just like a nuclear explosion. Often when that ceases, then some time will pass and our subtle defilements will become more painful. And in a way, that's good news, because it's a sign that our minds have become quieter and more sensitive. And so these defilements are now what used to be in the background, what used to be covered up by coarser ripples on the surface of our minds and our emotions and stuff like that. Those get attenuated, and then deeper down, we deal with what we might have been unable to feel before. I don't know if that brings anything into relief or not, but sometimes it can be indicative of good practice. You become more sensitive, and so there'll be a time when these things can be bothersome. So it will require patience.
If I may interject, it also feels I'm definitely more sensitive towards what's happening, able to see it before it becomes bigger. I definitely have the choice to look away, but it's almost like there's a certain part of me not wanting to. There's a certain part of me just choose to pick that route, even though maybe there's a wiser decision. It's almost like a part of me, I've been thinking about it, it's like I'm attached to it because there's just this unfair, well, then again, unfair is because of the mind, right? The mind makes a judgment of what is fair and unfair. Still, well, it's a very what's that word? Unproductive, maybe. It's an unproductive way of like me trying to rewrite history, like me trying to make sense of what had happened. And I know it's just stupid and futile. Even knowing that, I still choose it either way. Like I just want to make sense of it, even though it's basically what Dhammarato said. It's like I'm just picking out the dog shit and mixing it with whatever I'm trying to cook, knowing that the result is gonna be that anyway. But I still do it. I don't know.
Yeah, we're all going to have ignorance once in a while.
Mhm.
But it doesn't have to stay that way. We don't have to keep being ignorant. And the ignorance is trying to get somewhere where we're not trying to get something that we don't have, trying to understand it, trying to, like Dhammarato says, trying to get it correct. And
Yes.
I always repeat what Dhammarato said because I love it so much. He said, you don't have to get it perfect. You just have to get it happily. Something like that. You don't have to get it 100% correct. You just have to get it happily. You don't have to understand. You don't have to bash your head against a wall. You just have to learn to not take things so seriously and be joyful in the moment and let go of all this confusion. Because every time I hear you talk, it's beautiful. And I always want you to express how you feel and express your questions. But it's almost like I'm getting like a glimpse into your mind. And it just seems like it's like everybody's mind. There's no difference. It's up and down and confusion. And these people were saying this and hypocrites. And I'm sad. I'm happy. Everybody's mind is like that. And that's why Ajahn
Yeah.
Chah used to say, the mind is like a water buffalo, or the mind is like a cow. And you have it on a, whatever the hell it's called, the reins or whatever, but it wants to eat your vegetables. It wants to stomp on your garden. And he said, just hit it with a stick. You don't have to beat the hell out of it, but just hit the mind with a stick a little bit playfully, and it goes back on the road. And it's going to take some time. And if it's a young cow, especially, it's going to take some time, but it's nothing crazy. It's just going to take a little effort, a little right effort, a little right practice. And after a while, the cow, the mind will understand that it's not supposed to go in the gardens. And it will, of course, because it's a cow, once in a while, try to eat the vegetables, try to stomp on things it shouldn't. And we just need a little course correction. We have the power to change the mind. That's what I want people to get from anything they ever hear me or anybody else talk about in regard to the Dhamma, is that we have the power to change it. It's not difficult. It just requires a little effort, maybe a little work, but it's more like play. And we all can do it. When the things arise, we change them with our nurturing, wholesome speech, thoughts, feelings, emotions, actions. We change them. And we give constant examples of this. And that's good that we give constant examples of this, because it's the consistency, the repetition of hearing it. The Dhamma is not hard to grasp. The Dhamma is so easy to grasp that we lose it because we expect it to be more difficult.
It can be hard to see due to that very subtlety.
Right, exactly. It could with that wrong perception, it seems as though it's extremely hard to see. Really, you have to take away that perception of understanding, of grasping, of trying to get it right, of trying to figure it out, of trying to problem solve. Put all that stuff down and just don't worry, be happy. Here and now in the moment. Come to the breath. Breathe in, breathe out, sigh of relief. Give yourself a pat on the back of congratulations and just chill.
I definitely agree with, like you said, just making some small changes. What about like skillful action and unskillful action? It's almost, I guess maybe I'm just repeating myself. I'm just trying to get it right again. It's just,
we all repeat ourselves in the Dhamma practice, so don't worry. It's all repetitive. It's all repeating what the Buddha discovered, basically.
The Buddha used lots of repetition.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying that. It's just
the whole Pali Canon, different ways of saying "don't worry, be happy." But go ahead.
Joyfully redundant.
Yes, I agree. It's almost like I'm seeing myself doing an unskillful action, and I don't want to stop. It's almost as if the stopping in itself is more painful than
identification.
Sorry?
Yeah, we are identified. with some of our defilements, so it's almost as though we can't change our robe when we're standing on it. And so we return to right view and know that we aren't this body, nor this mind, nor its habits, but we have moments of this, moments of that, and then we return to anicca, impermanence. It's good news in this case.
Yeah.
We're not stuck with our defilements. They do, and they will come and they go. And our triumphs and our joy will come and they will go.
Yeah.
I think for me is, I think for my case, it's like shame or judgment. I guess it's pretty much the same thing where like, oh, I'm doing this, now I can't stop. And it's, I almost want to describe it as painful to stop. It's like, it's such a weird mental gymnastic my mind is playing with me.
Yeah.
I'm not sure what kind of illusion he's casting. I don't know.
You don't have to know. You can
Go ahead,
divert passion to it. I mean, one can look at it compassionately at the entire process and kind of zoom out and give yourself some space, and then you can apply the technique that Dhamma was going to tell you.
Yeah.
It seems like you're trying to always get somewhere or do something, you know? Do you see that with yourself?
100%.
You're always trying to feel some way that you don't feel, to get somewhere that you're not currently at. Where are you trying to go? Where will you go that will feel so amazing? Here and now is where it feels so amazing. Don't take life so seriously. It's your mind. It's not you. Your mind is feeling confused. Your mind is feeling sad. Your mind is feeling happy. Your mind feels angry. And we're so used to following it. We're like dogs on a leash. We follow the human. And the human follows us. And we're stepping all over the shit. You know, you don't have to follow the mind. Nobody's putting a gun to your head and saying, oh, your mind feels angry. Well, that's you. Therefore, you feel angry. No. The mind's going to feel angry. That's what it does. You don't have to follow it. You don't have to be free from it. There's nothing there. It's just chemicals in the brain that occur naturally in this body. That's all.
It's merely one of 32 that we enumerate in our practice.
Yeah.
The brain is insignificant. Secretions. They're very, in my life, it's quite annoying thoughts.
It can be, but when you see the mind for what it is, it becomes a great friend.
It's a tool.
Yeah, Mara turns.
I don't trust it.
Yeah, Mara turns from the scary devil into your friend, into a tool, like he was saying, into a very useful tool. A hammer can hurt somebody if you hit them with it, or it can build you a house, build you shelter. You know, but if you're looking at it and you have ignorance and you've never seen a hammer before, or you have somebody who's trying to hit you with a hammer, you might have an aversion to hammers in the future. You might not like them so much. But if you have a friend who shows you how to use them, oh, you can use the hammer this way. It's not so scary. So tonight, you're going to go to sleep. Tomorrow, you're going to wake up with all kinds of anxieties and fears like we all do, and a whole bunch of problems you're going to think of. And when they come, remind yourself what I'm saying, what we're saying here. When they come, say, oh yeah, that's just natural. It's okay. There's nothing to figure out. There's nowhere to go. You have the power to be happy, turning dukkha into sukha here and now. We come back to the breathing and we look around the room and we say, all these problems were just illusions. All this attempts of understanding was just illusions. If I look around the room, it's just me. It's just beautiful nature. It's just the Dhamma. You know?
Yes. Dhammadasa, I want to ask you about, because Dhammarato always say, there's nowhere to go, it's only here and now. Well,
Yes.
I've been thinking that that it's more like a reflective statement rather than a rule, right? Like it's just something to think, like just being aware that, oh, okay, and just come back here. because I may have, it's just me as a person, because I have this perfectionism or whatever. And when I think about there's nowhere to go, sometimes I take that literally. And it makes me not doing anything, which leads me to more suffering. I'm not sure. I haven't really figured it out.
Well,
That's just.
I think you should take it literally because there is only here and now. And our anxiety in the future, our depression from the past, the middle way is present here and now. And it's not a rule. It's not a vocabulary word. It's not a phrase. It's the Dhamma. It's the truth.
Thank you.
Our mind is making up these things to be afraid of, to give us anxiety, to all these things. Take it absolutely literally. There's just this. There's just the breath. In this moment, there's no nagging wife, nagging child, nagging buddy who doesn't treat you how he should, hypocrite parents. There's nothing here. It's just us. And when they do come, treat them with compassion or get away from them, whatever you choose. There's lots of solutions. But you're fine. In the physical reality, problems will come. Handle them as they come the best you can. It's not rocket science, you know. Go ahead, buddy. Were you going to say something?
The past is memory, nothing but memory. The future is thinking.
Yeah, useful tools. Useful tools, and what they call the soul, the impermanent self, the ego, if you want to call it. It's just a useful tool as well to help this body survive. And it's not what we are. It's just like a program. You know, you don't have to take it too seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Have you ever seen a very happy person, a very cheerful, happy-go-lucky person? They have problems just like you. They have ups and downs in their body just like you. The only difference is they choose not to follow their mind into those dark places. They see it for what it is, something that will only hurt them. And we come back to our breath. And like you were talking with Dhammarato says, there's only here and now. Yeah, that reminds me of what Dogen Zenji said, and I always repeat it, is if we can't find peace right where we sit, right where we are, where do we expect to find it? Go ahead, man.
That whole section was really inspirational, Dhamma. I appreciated it. This is it. Nothing's next. That's all I wanted to add.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, this is it. And when you hear Dhamma talks that will go on from like Ajahn Sumedho and all these famous people for hours and hours, they're so lovely to listen to. And I would recommend start reading some Dhamma books, start reading the Pali Canon, start listening to YouTube talks, because it seems like you're very addicted to your mind's ups and downs and the slings and arrows of whatever comes in your mind, you're chasing here and there. So a Buddhadasa Bhikkhu once recommended this. He would always write in journals, so I read. So I read from what he wrote. But he said he would always write in journals, just happy, beautiful Buddhist Dhamma stuff. And he said the mind needs entertainment. So it's not a bad practice to start reading some books or to watch some YouTube videos. And yes, the best book to read is in between our ears and our heart. But while we're satisfied, it's a nice, wholesome activity to do, like chanting. These are nice, wholesome activities, and it will keep your monkey mind busy. Because some people, they have a little trouble of like, oh, don't worry, be happy. That's not working. That's not right. So maybe it would be better for you to start diving into the Dhamma more on a kind of simple level. More simple level, more beautiful level.
That'd be funny if you talked about don't worry, be happy, and someone asked for a map to that.
Yeah, like where's the map? When somebody's holding a hot coal
Multiple models.
They say, "What's
how do I get there with the fractal?"
Let it go. Yeah,
I'm just kidding. I'm sorry.
I'm on fire. How do I jump in the lake? You just jump.
Yeah.
You just put it out. You have that power when your mind is experiencing dukkha, you have that power to very gently and easily change it, like a beautiful dance with a beautiful friend. It's not a war, it's not fighting. If that helps you to see it as a war, go for it. Whatever floats your boat. You know, I always say that. Whatever. There's no rules. There's no things. It's just you have to look inside yourself. How can I be happy here and now? Why am I not happy? And the Buddha said, the Four Noble Truths, you're not happy because you're wanting something that you don't have, or wanting things to be a way that they're not. You know? You want to be a Buddha, you want to be enlightened, you want to be free from all these feelings. It's not going to happen. And when you stop wanting that way to happen, then you become, ironically, a Buddha, an enlightened being, because you're not searching for something other than what's right here with the breath. And then you can have the rest of your life having fun, playing games, reading books, doing whatever. Robert Adams said, he said, after I became enlightened, so one of his students said, what do we do after we become enlightened? And he said, just watch Tales from the Crypt. It's an old TV show, a horror TV show. He's like, that's what I do. I just watch Tales from the Crypt and take walks. You just live your life. But it's funny, he is so profound in the simplicity of what he was saying is like.
Who was that?
Robert Adams. He was a student of Ramana Maharshi.
Okay, good.
Yeah, he has a beautiful book. I have it right here, actually. It's called Silence of the Heart. It's like blurring it out, but it's a beautiful book. You could get it on Amazon, I think.
Okay, I'll check that out for sure.
He's one of my favorites. I really enjoy reading him. It's not as, in my opinion, he has some things where I'm like, wow, but in my opinion, like I like Theravada, I like Zen, I like Dhammarato. I like this Sangha more because it's more practical, simple. But he's basically saying the same thing. They just have different ways of saying.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And the same with the Sargadatta Maharaj as well.
Oh yeah. One of my other teachers, Sailor Bob Adamson.
Sailor Bob.
A student of Nisargadatta. When he was a young man, he was there in India sitting with him. Yeah. Yeah.
You're a student of Sailor Bob?
Well, I mean, I don't know about definitions. I've talked to him on Skype. I've watched a lot of his videos. You wouldn't be wrong to say that, but it's just not important. But I guess technically, yeah, I kind of am. Just like Dhammarato, just like the Buddha, just like Jesus. But yeah, I recommend him too. He's on YouTube, and his wife, Sailor Cat. They're called sailors because they're literally sailors. Both of them
I've seen them.
Yeah. And
I mean, on the internet only, though. Only on the internet, not in person.
Yeah, they give beautiful talks. They call it non-duality. It's more like a Advaita Vedanta, Neo-Advaita Vedanta thing, but it's beautiful. And they're saying the same thing we are. Don't worry, be happy, basically.
Non-duality prior to the word non-duality.
Yeah. Yeah. Prior to the Western version of the non-duality. But I mean, it's all the same. It's just tomato. Yeah. Yeah. Christianity, atheism. If you're happy, satisfied, it's wonderful. If you learn that you're positive, being positive. What's that, buddy?
Is there a Skype group? Is there a Skype group for satisfied and happy and contented atheists? Is it a big group?
I don't know. I'm not sure. Yeah. I've met some atheists, but I'm not sure if they have groups. There's a guy on YouTube called The Amazing Atheist. He's pretty funny.
Does he do sleight of hand?
I don't know what he does. He is hilarious.
Like magician, The Amazing Atheist. He makes beliefs disappear.
Yeah. Yeah, he does a lot of political stuff. I used to like him, but I still like him, but he got a little too
that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, but just don't worry, be happy. Come back to the breath. Let it
That's
all
great.
go. Does anybody else have anything they want to talk about? Any other questions, concerns?
Yeah.
Go ahead, DJ. What are you saying?
Oh, yeah, no, I was just reflecting on, going for a walk this morning and coming back to that same, insight of, yeah, there's just really nothing more beyond, now, and finding that peace and just being okay. Like sometimes, when I go for a walk, I'll be a little bit more like open in terms of, thought, and I'm just walking and it's like, okay, cool. But, there'll be like maybe a subtle thing of trying to figure something out, right, in the background. And so just noticing that and coming back to the reality of the situation and being like, yeah, you know what, there's nothing to get here. We can just be walking, there's no problems, right? And really coming back to like waking up to what's going on with the senses, with the seeing, with the hearing, like what's within that vicinity, not a conceptualized idea of what's going on in the world right now, but just like what's directly happening. Yeah, there's that security there that, hey, you know what? At the end of the day, it's all right.
Well said.
And that feels nurturing for sure. There is something I wanted to. Wait, go ahead, Dhamma.
Oh no, go ahead. I was chilling.
Well, I'm going to. Somebody else go. Give me a second to contemplate the way I'm going to bring this up. But
Sure.
I might raise my hand in a minute.
Yeah. Take your time, man. We're all just chilling.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of the Sangha is we're in a world. We're in that famous phrase, a safe space. we're in a safe space where pauses are okay, like DJ always says that I love. Silence is okay. Talking is okay. Everything's okay. We're under no obligation to act or be.
I just have this need to ask the question of what I said earlier. I think the answer is obvious, but it's just so I meditate hours ago. Like now it's past midnight, but
Is
before
that
night.
everybody's connection or just
Can you hear me?
Oh, sweet, you're still here. I'm gonna turn on my
I think it's
Wi-Fi.
just you, Dhamma.
Sorry, buddy. Okay, I'm
Oh.
turning on my Wi-Fi. That should help.
Yeah.
Leave.
Basically it's just I meditated and I feel good and just trying to go back to finish off something, just work related, looking forward to it. But there's just this part of me that says, let's do something unskillful. Like I should be working, but I'm browsing internet. I should be working, but I'm engaging in watching. What do you call that? Gossiping stuff. Just things that's unskillful.
Oh yeah. Everybody loves gossip, don't they?
Yeah. Even though I know where that would lead me to, I still do it. Well, first of all, at least I feel good that this rarely happens nowadays. I'm kind of thankful that I'm more in control with myself. But
Good.
Yeah.
I don't know. Is this something I should contemplate on, or should I just let it go? Like, yeah, it happens. So be it. Don't have to do it next time. I don't know.
I think something could be said here, possibly that the energy that is currently going into judgment and the dis-ease of should. If you can catch that with your mindfulness, and especially post-meditation, when you come out of samadhi, I'm sure, or you come out of your anapanasati or your meditation sessions, however they look, you'll notice you are more sensitive to the rearrival of the hindrances, the psychic irritants, or what you normally see as this pattern of defilement that you are now describing. If it happens to be gossip, careless speech, I know that in my life, I'm married, and I think Dhamma may be too, if I remember correctly. So careless speech, frivolous speech, gossip, it's available in those environments which I find myself in. So I think the energy that your mind is putting into judgment can just be redirected toward clear seeing, sati sampajanya, or just the ability that you gain from your meditations that allows you to be more sensitive toward your actions. And the good news is it's working. And the good news is that everything you said and your insistence on looking into this, and the truth is all this being so places you in a rare position, and one that is very blessed and joyful, and just the contemplation of your own success in Dhamma will be enough buoyancy to push you forward, as well as satisfaction in the here and now, in my humble opinion. Just looking from the practice here and some of the same common experiences that we still have, or I'll be dealing with this and I think our virtue, and if we look at Theravada in terms of the three trainings, and we look at Sila and our virtue, for me that's going to be a lifelong endeavor, but it's not one that I relate to via struggle with suffering, whenever I can help it. And I find that as the practice grows stronger with support from Sangha and wisdom, concentration, and my efforts to virtue, it becomes more easy and more joyful to do so. So, again, to make it simple and to cut down to all that, to say that the energy that's currently going into judgment, you don't have to try so hard that the effort itself becomes unskillful. And so that's something to watch too.
Yeah.
First noble truth. We'll let you know.
The unskillful effort would be effort that's causing you dukkha. The skillful effort would be just the right amount of effort that's turning that dukkha into sukha.
And that's why we have the first noble truth. And the second one. And we slide from 4 to 3.
The Noble Eightfold Path.
I feel like energy is the right way to describe this. I don't know, it just makes sense to me intuitively. There's this weird, there's this weird energy that's driving me to just self-sabotage, to just want that dukkha, even though I know it's not good for me. It's an old habit, old destructive habit. It doesn't come out as often. It doesn't come out as much, to be honest. It just so happened to come out recently. I'm not sure. I just want to say that out loud.
Yeah, don't be so hard on yourself. Whether you're shoveling shit or you're working for Mother Teresa, if you're not satisfied, it's going to be work that causes you dukkha, or doing these wonderful things that's causing you dukkha. That's not the real issue. whatever you're doing, whether it is shoveling shit or being a saint and feeding the hungry, if you're satisfied, that's what's important. So don't be so hard on yourself like, oh, I was playing video games today. What a piece of shit I am. Because you're going to feel like that. Instead say, oh, I'm playing video games. Is that what I should be doing? Well, are you satisfied while you're doing it? Are you ultimately satisfied? Then yeah, that's good enough. You know, it's okay. If you don't want to work and you just want to like kick dirt around, that's okay too. If you want to go for a walk. Yeah, society will tell you you're sitting in bed all day, go to work, you're being a piece of shit. That's society's talking. You know, real, like me and DJ were talking about this the other. Real laziness is not turning your dukkha into sukha and letting your dukkha take over your mind garden, so to speak. That's real laziness. But one could sit around the house all day long doing completely what others would say is absolutely nothing, but they're doing a great deal in the Dhamma. But then you can have somebody doing the same exact activities, laying around the house all day and actually being lazy in their mind and actually having dukkha there that they're not tending to when it arises.
Or cultivating.
Or they,
Pouring
yeah,
gasoline on the fire.
yeah. So it's not the activity, it's not the rules, it's not the should and shouldn'ts. It's about gladdening the mind here and now, coming back to the breath, realizing that all these problems were just illusions that exist in your mind, and they're perfectly natural chemicals in the brain that are there for particular reasons, but we've made a molehill into a mountain. Society, rather, has made a molehill into a mountain. Go ahead, buddy.
Often we've been making the same little molehills for a long time, or they've accreted into a mountain over time. And it does seem to me like, and I could be incorrectly surmising based on what he's saying, but it does seem to me that since this is an old dukkha that's arising, then again, this could be a sign of progress in that things that were in the fore, things that were occurring that were suffering more often, are now happening less often. So the older stuff again is coming to the foreground. And that's really what I was trying to say before. I think this is a positive thing if this is indeed what you're describing.
Perfect. Yes. That's the Eightfold Noble Path that he just did right there. Is taking your dukkha and saying, look, dude, it's not happening as much as it used to. That's a very positive thing. And you're noticing it. There's another positive thing. Congratulate you. You know, you're doing great. There's a lot of people out there addicted to drugs, addicted to chasing wealth, addicted to status, addicted to manipulating and lying. You don't seem like that. You're way ahead of the game. So much so, you're actually a Buddha. You don't even realize it. You're already enlightened being, a noble enlightened being. You don't even realize it, but you soon will, right now. You got it already. You're fine. Everything's okay. The mind will give you all kinds of problems. Like I said, once you hang up, you're going to go to sleep tonight, you're going to wake up, and there will be our old friend, the mind, Mara, giving us all kinds of anxieties, fears, and worries. And we're going to greet it with happiness because that's what the mind does. And over time, we greet it with happiness, and the mind will continue to do that, and it will become less. Our grasping at it will become less. The mind will still be the mind, but our grasping at it will be less. Just like if you have an annoying dog outside your window barking. If you let that fester in your mind, if every second you hear that dog bark, why don't my neighbors do something? Why is this? If you have this speech, unwholesome speech, you're building these sankharas, these bad habits. You're building these karmas. But if you hear the dog that's annoying outside your window barking, and you say, you know what? It's not so annoying, actually, after all. It's kind of pleasant. It's kind of like a nice little neighborhood barking. And then you say more things. I actually kind of like that dog. He's my friend. Over time, you won't even hear the barking. You may even come to enjoy the barking as a welcoming.
Yes.
That's the eighth path.
Yes. It really got me thinking when Buddha, I mean, in Eightfold Path, they talk about right speech. Is it also the same thing? Because
Nurturing wholesome speech.
Yeah.
Remembering to look if there's dukkha, you're changing it with your nurturing wholesome thoughts, feelings, emotions, and speech. thoughts, feelings, emotions, I would say is kind of like the right noble action too.
Yes. Because oftentimes I think speech is just in what I say, but sometimes also like the speech inside my head, like those little things can
Nurturing,
become,
wholesome speech. That's the
yeah,
speech you to yourself and to others, not causing dukkha for anybody, but actually transforming dukkha into sukha. You know, telling ourselves everything okay is that noble speech. Remembering to look is that remembering is the sati. To look, that's the right view. You're viewing what's happening, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah. And yeah, looking, changing, and then rinse and repeat. You know, you get into a samadhi unification type of state, like the right concentration, but it's a unification. And before you know it, you're living the right type of livelihood because you got in the right habits, you got in the right momentum. And it wasn't hard, it was very easy. It was always available to you. You know? It's as simple as your mind's going to throw stuff at you and just change it. Change it for the positive, change it for the better. Don't worry, be happy. It's okay. Look, how old are you?
30, same age as DJ, I think.
You're 30? Well, you've made it 30 years, right? And think of all the anxieties, all the worries and fears. And it's still same old body in a sense. I mean, it's changed, of course. It's different atoms, like everything changes. But you're here, you made it, you know? All those worries, anxieties, fears, and we're still here. The sun is still shining. You're fine. And you're going to have 30 more years, probably, if you're lucky, of more worries, fears, and anxieties. But now you know that what's going to happen. 30 years from now, I might be here too, and I might say, hey, look, you made it another 30 years. Congratulations. And if you die, who cares? Their problems are over. Can't lose, really.
Yeah, death sounds free. I mean that in the wholesome way.
Can't lose no matter what you do. No matter if you feel angry, no matter if you feel like crap, you can't lose. You only lose if you have the attitude of a loser. Of poor me, I'm a victim, I can't do anything about it. But you can do something about it. You have been doing something about it.
Yes.
And just continue to do, you know? You're going to feel like shit sometimes. And if you're okay with that, immediately you'll feel better while you feel like shit, ironically. You'll be okay with things just being as they are.
I agree. I talked with I had a small conversation with Michael. Not the Michael that's living in Dhammarato, the other Michael. I forgot the whole conversation, but something he said just makes me realize that my tendency to run away from me feeling like shit because I take it personally. So I try not to run away from it. Yeah. And it feels really good. it feels really good to not run away from it.
You change it. You look at it and say, oh, this isn't that scary. I feel like shit. Well, I guess I'll just feel like shit for a while. And it's not a passive surrendering. Actually, those nurturing words are the actions that's taking charge, are the transformations that are occurring that you're causing. When you feel like shit, just say, oh, that's okay. I feel like shit. It's not a big deal. It happens. And that nurturing speech is the correct action that's changing all this stuff. You're going to feel like shit. It's okay.
Another thing, too, while you're feeling like shit, another thing that helps is to really take a look close at the shitty feeling and notice that it's moving. Try and notice the aspects of it that disappear, that are going away, that are fading, and then you'll know that this shitty feeling too is passing. Via impermanence and constancy, anicca. And that's the good news about shitty feelings.
Anicca, dukkha, anatta. It's the best news ever.
And that's very good news.
Nothing is worth clinging to. Yeah. I felt like shit like last week. I was really feeling like shit, and I just kept reminding myself, it's gonna pass. Sure, you feel like shit. It's natural. It's gonna pass. And it lasted a little bit. But sure enough, it passed. And I was like, oh, it really does pass, no matter how you feel. And that's good news. And and you could remind yourself of that every time. Like he was saying, everything is impermanent.
Something
Shitty
happened.
feelings.
Just got something here. Just here now. Came up and it was a little hook dangled and then it went away. I received a text, and the question was from someone that cares about me. But the question was, "Have you eaten? What did you eat when you got home?"
Mm.
Well, I'd had a bit of a snack for lunch, but nothing. So I haven't reported that yet. The first tendency was to go into rebellion. Oh no,
Right.
she's micromanaging my personal space or some such made up thing. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not so. It's no problem.
Yeah, that's a perfect example because it's on a text. It's literally on a device that you can only see if you pick it up and look at it. She's not in the room or he's not in the room grabbing you by the collar saying,
Right.
"Did you eat today?" No, it's just a text. He's just curious or she's just curious. Yeah. If they are getting little jabs at you trying to micromanage you, that's going to happen every day. People are going to try to do that because we're humans. We live in a human world
Yep.
with who want to manipulate us, want to control things. And we just gotta, don't take it too serious.
I'm interdependently involved in this perception. Even if I were to label it a misperception, it's not entirely because I created the legacy for a guy who's irresponsible about his own eating, even though that may not be so now. It's only maybe in the last year or so increased in response. I know when I need to eat, when I don't now, but for a long time it wasn't so. And so I have to take responsibility for sometimes even for the conditioning of it, not entirely, but partially.
It could be worse. They could have texted you, "Go fuck yourself," but they didn't.
Oh,
They said,
yeah, that's happened.
"How's nutrition going?"
That has happened. That's happened, and of course, in some situations, and one's had to dismiss that as well for
That
what it
happens.
is. See it for what it
Could
is.
be worse than that, too. Yeah, there's always worse. There's like Tony Robbins said. I'm sure 20 million Buddhists and practitioners said this before Tony Robbins, but
I hope
he
so.
said it simply. And he said, I always repeat this. He said, "There's 1,000 things to be worried about and anxious over any time of the day. Pick and choose your favorite ones. They're always available, readily available. But also, it's true that there's always the positive things that are available to choose. There's always the things to be grateful for. And there's always the things to just look at as blessings and positive, wholesome things. Those are there as well. And
Infinite.
sometimes, yeah, we have bad habits of always picking from this basket of the bullshit. Try the other basket.
I mean, come on, we've got 2 infinite baskets.
Infinite baskets, yeah.
Why
Yeah.
choose the bad one?
Yeah, why feel like shit when you could change it? Your water buffalo mind is gonna eat the vegetables. Ajahn Chah said, just gently hit it with this stick, nothing crazy, just gently guide it, and it will learn. And it will learn in the moment. When you do it, it'll change in the moment because you're taking action, wholesome actions to just help guide it, not forcing it, just dancing with it.
How about the Buddhist simile of the 4 types of horses to be trained?
I'm not sure if I'm
Anyone familiar with that?
How does it go?
No.
Just tell-
Well, the first type of horse learns obedience through kind words. The second type of horse, after he's been scolded a bit, maybe a little bit of harsh words. Third type of horse doesn't mind or obey until he feels the sting of the whip. Or maybe that was the third. The whip hits him to the bone till it, cuts pretty deep. The fourth kind of horse can't be trained. You just have to shoot him.
And the
But,
fourth type is only people who aren't in Sangha's
Well, yeah.
interest.
Horses, I don't know. But that was from Ajahn Dhammasaro, I think, from one of his translations.
That's cool.
I was at least the third type of. I felt like my training. For the longest time, I was maybe one of the third. Often it took a hard knock before I realized what I was doing to sabotage or to bring myself into delusion. And often it took extreme dukkha, and that's sad.
But that was the past, and now we're Buddhas in this present moment. We're not horses,
Right.
we're Buddhas.
Because of that's what I have to bring is it doesn't have to be that way.
Right.
It doesn't have to be
Yeah.
difficult as I made it, often alone too. Without
Yeah.
often in times of life where Sangha wasn't available. You know, some partly my responsibility for not creating that, and partly just geographic location and other things, stochastic things.
All been there.
All of which I'm grateful for, because it's the teeth
Totally.
of the ferocity of grace that brought us here to this place that we are here now.
It's wonderful.
It is.
The good news of the Dhamma is that we have the power to change our mind and feel good and be satisfied in anything, any moment, no matter what's happening. We do have that power, and it is easy and available to us here and now. And it's wonderful. The kingdom of heaven is within us, like Jesus said, and Tolstoy. I love Leo Tolstoy. He's amazing. Highly recommend him. But his post-Enlightenment works, anything after the death of Ivan Ilyich, probably pronouncing that name wrong. But anyways, I think I'm going to get going, dudes.
Yeah, thank you
Okay.
for hosting.
Thank you so much.
I love you guys. Thanks for joining, dudes.
Thank you.
Hopefully next time we could get the UK one to work. I don't know what the hell happened, but we'll figure it out. Peace out,
Thank you.
dudes.
All right, peace.